Good Friday morning, fellow friends of common sense. You made it to Friday. The weekend it's right over there. We're almost there, which is great news. And a lot to cover today. And once again, because this is just the way things always are these days, all the news stories are insane. But compared to the previous news stories this week, I actually I got a good feeling about a lot of things that are going on today in current events. I see a lot of them as good news. So cool. Thanks for being here. Thanks for finding the Wicked Radio live stream. Then it replays as a pod, audio too, all channels, all that good stuff. Like, follow, share, all that stuff. By the way, if you'll allow me, one quick programming note for tomorrow. Look out for this again. The second edition of something that worked pretty well last week. A weekend edition of the podcast becomes Wicked Wisdom, which is basically, in a nutshell, how to deal with all the lunatics that are out there that really hate you simply because you do have common sense. That's all. So look for one of those. Cherry pick one of those crazy, usually from the car videos. We've all seen them from social media, and give you some tips on how to handle these folks. It's great to find common ground. Not always possible, though. But anyway, thanks for being here. Let's get right to it. All right, quick, before we do anything else on any of these stories, let's get a quick update on the government shutdown. Let me see where we are on this. Maybe there's good news. Let me check. Nope. Democrats still hate you and your wife and your car and your cat and your dog and your business, so that's not happening. And the Republicans are still pussies. They don't know how to fight, so this is where we are. It's just and it's going to go on until you nuke the filibuster and get this done. Until now. So we got another weekend to go, it looks like, unless something dramatic happens today. But who knows? Other news stories, though. Big decision from the Supreme Court of the United States of America. Maybe you've heard of it. SCOTUS, it's called. Big decision. 2 genders only. Now, let me make sure I have the correct wording on this before somebody yells at me in the comment section or the inbox. Supreme Court last night ruled that the federal government may list sex on passports according to biological sex, not, and this is in quotes, this is from the brief, self-identified gender. Now, this is classic. There's always a dissent. This was, it's a 6-3 decision, and they get to pick whoever wants to write the dissenting opinion. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, boy, she's something, called the order a, quote, pointless but painful perversion of our equitable discretion. Tell me that doesn't sound like something Kamala would come up with. But anyway, that's where we are. So there you go. Big win for the Trump administration who pushed for this. There's going to be a lefty meltdown all weekend long. Look for one of those car videos over this because you, God forbid, have to put your gender on a passport. A big win for common sense. Interesting enough, I think that this would come this week when we've had so many of the gender battles in our culture. Now, a couple of these stories, this one especially, I waited to talk about. This has been going on all week long. It happened early on in the week. I'm talking about the L.A. Gold's Gym incident where you had a transgender intruder into the women's room, and the lady that was affected by it freaked out, but she was the one that lost her membership. Now, I know this was such a big story. Chances are you've probably seen it already. I wanted to hold off on this one until we got an update and heard from, and we did, the actual transgender person, the guy, I'm going to say it, the guy in the women's room, and we're hearing from him now. I'll play a brief recap video of the original incident at Gold's Gym, L.A., one of the locations. Earlier this week, I tried to get out all the F-bombs. I may not have, but here's the aftermath of what happened.
Gold's Gym! Men! Grown men with big dicks in the women's locker room! And that's why I'm getting kicked out, and I want to make sure the girls know.
All righty. It wasn't an F-bomb, but there was a D-bomb. Okay, so that is Trish Hyman, as we've learned. She is I think she's a singer or an entertainer or something in L.A., just wanted to go over her workout. What she's talking about is she was in the women's room, completely naked, according to her, and a dude was staring at her, and they got into a verbal confrontation. She explains it a lot better. This is when she calmed down a little bit. Here's the aftermath. By the way, she said it right there. Despite all of this happening, she's the one that got kicked out. She's the one that got kicked out and lost her membership until they come to, maybe some common sense and they actually give it back to her. Here she is in a calmer state immediately after from the car explaining what happened.
I just had the worst experience ever at the gym, at Gold's Gym, and I think this is probably happening at gyms across America. We're like going into the women's locker room and not really caring about how women feel about it. And it's really hurtful, yo. Like, how you gonna say you want to be a woman or that you are a woman, but you don't give a fuck how women feel? Today I was naked in the locker room. I turn around and there's a man there in boy clothes, lip gloss, standing there looking at me. I'm butt naked. So the first thing I think is maybe there's a worker in here. Maybe I missed the sign. I say the word sir to say, sir, what are you doing in here? He goes, don't fucking talk to me. I'm a woman. I have a right to be in here. Immediately.
And that's what set her off, and I think understandably so. Again, sorry about the F-bombs, but they're almost impossible to completely edit out. Okay, that's Trish Hyman and her story, which has gone worldwide. TMZ, which is, you may not like TMZ, but they do an incredible job getting hold of everybody. They will interview. Whenever you're looking for an interview to hear from somebody, eventually TMZ will have it. I don't know how, I don't know why, but they do. So who's the dude? Who's the dude that was in the bathroom? Well, let's meet Alexis Black. Interesting background about Alexis Black, and this is the update on why I held off on the story to talk about. Let's just go to the TMZ interview.
But I know that I'm a woman. Should they have built another one to necessitate building this room? People would have to have the level of comfortability within themselves that I do. Not every.
All right. Alexis Black. Let's go into this background now, which because the internet finds everybody, not just TMZ. A convicted felon. Ooh, wow, that's interesting. And violent convictions, because Alexis Black just a couple of years ago was Grant Freeman. Okay, well, what's the convicted? In Ohio in 2022, that wasn't that long ago, few years, convicted of domestic violence and did serve some time reportedly in Ohio for an incident against his wife at the time, which was so violent, broke her jaw. Again, this is reported online. This is the interesting part to me, and this is even scarier than that. At the time, Grant Freeman's wife was Alexis Freeman. You get the commonality there? When this all happened, and apparently when he was freed from an Ohio prison, took her name. So that person now is Alexis Black, the subject of the Gold's Gym LA. Interesting. So here you have everything that Trish Hyman, the hero of our story here, who spoke about, was concerned about this person, leering at her while she's naked. These are her words, boy clothes, lipstick on. And thinking in the back of her mind, of course, maybe this person is capable of violence. Well, guess what? Her instincts were right because he is, and we know that now in the background record. So that's what you're dealing with here. That's what you got here. This is what the thing keeps happening that I was told never happens. Remember when all this started happening? Remember the big push probably like 7-8 years ago for transgender rights in states like California that actually allow the kind of stuff. That's just propaganda that anyone like that would be violent. Well, this is not the only story where that's actually popped up. So there's that. Here's the only thing I think, and I think it's interesting, and this is why, I even called Trish a hero for speaking up. And yes, she made a big noise, and she made a big incident, which led to her, of all people, getting suspended and getting kicked out of the Gold's Gym, at least for that day. I think we're at the point now where it's gonna take women to fix this problem. Specifically, and I mean this specifically, and the reason why I'm specifically mentioning her race and gender. I think specifically it's going to take strong-willed, no-nonsense black women to fix this problem, like Trish. I really mean that. I really do. Because as a gender, on the whole, not all of us, but I think as a species, men have failed you so badly. Low testosterone, self-identifying feminist men have backed off of this to protect you, have not done our jobs so badly, you're going to have to take care of things yourself. And I think the ones that'll be first to speak up are just like Trish. No nonsense black women who will not put up with this. Because how often do you hear about this happening like in the hood, right? How often they're not going to put up with it. Which is interesting because since this happened, I am seeing a lot of videos like this of women like Trish, African American, no nonsense, not putting up with it. Here's another one. This is just a quick example. There's thousands of these popping up all over the place. Here's another one, real quick. Black women not putting up with it. And I think all women should stand up like.
Okay, so I have a PSA announcement, okay? So I am a woman, okay? Uterus, cooch, ovaries, the whole nine, okay? So I am a woman, okay? And I'm telling you, we don't want y'all asses in our bathroom.
Boom, right there. That is it. That's what it's going to take. And then hopefully that'll inspire all women to not put up with this, because it's just been going on way too long. And the hell with what they're going to call it. Raise a stink. Make noise like Trish did. Do videos like she did. That's what it's going to take. Because apparently men don't stand up for you. Real men don't stand up for you anymore in places like L.A., I guess. So you're going to have to do it yourselves. Sorry about that, but that's what's happened. The wussification of men in our country has led to this. So you're going to have to do it, I guess. I don't know. But it's starting, though. And like I said in the beginning, this is good news. It's more insanity, but it's good news that people are pushing back. So good. All right. Let's get an update on Exodus 2.0, which I call the Exodus out of New York. Now, it's been funny ever since Tuesday night in the Mamdani election, which everybody knew was going to happen. There was no possible chance he wasn't going to be elected mayor. Everybody had predicted the Exodus out of New York. The people who hadn't already left during COVID, and that's a big part of the election story, by the way. There weren't that many people left. Everybody kind of sensed that eventually there'd be a mass exodus again out of New York to states like Tennessee, North Carolina, Florida, Texas, Arizona. It's happening quicker than anybody thought. Here's a video of I don't know who she is, but I just thought it was interesting because of where she says. She says she's in my hood. She's in Palm Beach County, Florida. I think she mentions here that she's a realtor who service. I'm sure she does. I'm sure she has business in Boca Raton. She mentions Palm Beach as well. These are very wealthy areas, so these are the first ones to leave because they're people who can. They have the means to do so, to get the hell out of there, right? What's shocking about this is we all knew this was going to happen. Did any of us actually predict that it would happen so fast in these kinds of numbers? Here's just another quick video.
Okay, y'all, I'm not going to lie. I did not think exactly this was going to happen. I thought this guy was going to win in New York City. I thought that our market was going to pick up. But I didn't think it was going to happen like the next morning. I'm like, okay, my sellers like settle down. I don't think they're just going to come, racing down and, from New York City. But it's, I don't know. I don't even know what time it is, 3 or 4 o'clock. I've literally been on the phone since 7 a.m., nonstop back-to-back calls. I had showings scheduled for listings that haven't had showings in a month. And yeah, I was wrong because it literally turned on like a light bulb, literally blew off like a firecracker. And
now, is there a possibility, let's play devil's advocate here, is she a realtor doing a video just to try to create more hype in the market and, get in now, call me now? Maybe, sure, that's what they do. They're in business too, sure, maybe. But I tend to believe her because of how she described it. She didn't even expect it to happen this fast. So other Floridians like I am now, and people in Tennessee and North Carolina, South Carolina, Texas, here they come. Get ready for it. But as Mrs. Adams told me in the car last night, as we're talking about this and getting ready for it, she said the smartest thing of all, and it's just the way it is. It's going to be great for our business. You have to look at it that way. You're not going to be able to completely stop it. Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, had a funny thing. He said, we're going to have checkpoints at the Texas border. And of course the lefties lost their minds thinking he's serious, but it's not happening. And another fun thing has actually popped up on social media where this is actually pretty cool, where people in those states are posting things on Facebook and I guess X and various social media outlets where they're saying, oh, my state sucks. Like Florida, oh, the bugs and it's overcrowded. Oh no. And other people are saying, don't come to Texas. No, we're full, but it's happening. The population is shifting. It's just a natural order of things. The economy will affect some of that some way, but an event happens like this, here they come. But all you can do is try to take advantage of it. Like your housing values are going to go through the roof, and more population means better economy, even though the traffic's going to suck. So there you go. Let's just hope, like everybody is saying, just don't come here and voted what you just escaped. Please. That's all we ask. All right, let's get to my favorite story of the week. Another one I held off on because I wanted to see if there were any more updates because this was just so crazy. All heard about the Louvre Heist. last week. Was it the week before? I don't know. So eventually they found some suspects. They've arrested a couple of people on this, but it was just crazy because, first of all, people love a great heist. They just love it. Like all the Ocean's 11, all the Ocean's movies, original and the redos. People love a heist story. Not that they're really rooting for the bad guys, but they love the intrigue and all this other stuff that happens with it. So people were kind of disappointed, human nature being what it is, when they started to arrest a lot of these people. But the most unbelievable update of all from the Louvre story has come just in the past 48 hours. You're never going to guess what the password was, hopefully was, for the video security system for the Louvre. Houses the most expensive art and jewelry in the world. Here's a story.
In Paris, the search for answers in the multi-million-dollar jewelry heist continues with more lapses in the security system. A museum employee told ABC News that the password to the video surveillance system was simply Louvre at the time of the robbery last month. 4 people have now been arrested and charged in the heist. The jewels are still missing.
The password, the only worse password you could have for the video security system than the actual name of the building, the Louvre, would be like password or like 1, 2, 3, 4. Didn't you grow up thinking that all of these institutions, the Louvre, Smithsonian, Ivy League schools, military installation, didn't you grow up like thinking these were the smartest people on the face of the planet? And this is where they all kind of like wind up. So either that, what we were told growing up was a complete lie, that they have never been the smartest people in the world, or the other possibility is we have an absolute crisis of incompetence that we thought was only happening in America. It's happening worldwide. Somebody actually set the password for the security system of the Louvre as Louvre. Oh my God. So they got away with that for years, and yet how many times do you have to change your password on your email or any other app you use? How freaking annoying is that? We're more secure than the Louvre has been. Oh, my God. All right. Well, hopefully that gave you a chuckle. But if you feel bad about not being technically proficient, look at the Louvre story, and it'll make you feel better about yourself. This will make you feel great, too. It's the weekend. Well, almost. We got to get through Friday first, but thanks for finding me on the live stream, and then the replay pod, and then the audio podcast, and all that good stuff. Like, follow, share, subscribe, download. I don't know. You know how the work. You know how the new digital media works. All that good crap. And I appreciate you for doing so. Again, programming note, tomorrow I think it drops. We're going to do this on the weekend. Special edition of the podcast just to keep the momentum going. Wicked Radio turns into Wicked Wisdom. I take usually only about 5 minutes on all the platforms again, where I'll cherry pick one of these crazy loons who hate you simply for having a differing opinion or common sense, and give you some tips on how to deal with these people, because we all have to deal with them eventually. Hopefully you find common ground. Not always possible, but anyway, look for that feature as well. But thanks for hanging out with me as always. Make it a great weekend. Enjoy your time. Might want to check your password. And I will talk to you on, tomorrow and on Monday. Take care.